What is today's quote? We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. We are positive, everything looks positive. We are negative, everything looks negative. It all depends on your perception. A very useful quote. Let us go to the editorial. What is this editorial about? It is about governors and their powers and the controversies that go with governors. What the law says, what they have to do, what they have been doing, why they are under criticism. We'll start with the tone of the editorial. What is the tone of this editorial? The tone of this editorial can be described as critical and concerned. Both underline the key words, critical, criticizing, concerned, because they're not acting the way they're supposed to act. They have become rubber stamps. Have you heard of the expression rubber stamp? Let us go to the vocabulary. First word, regime, we have got so many times. So write the letter F, familiar. A government, especially an authoritarian one. But put the words authoritarian one in brackets, need not be all the time. A current government or a government regime. Flag as a noun you all know, but here is it a verb or a noun? Verb. As a verb you have to remember. What does it mean? To warn or tell people about something that is important or is a problem. You flag something, you're telling there's a problem here. You're warning there's a problem here. Undermine also we have got many a time. What does it mean? To gradually weaken or destroy someone or something. Underline the word weaken. Weaken is a verb. It's a regular verb. What is the past form? Weakened. ED should be added. Many students may not know that. Assent, part of speech noun, the expression of approval or agreement. He gave his assent means what? He gave his approval. Agree is an important word. Put a star mark. Part of speech verb. It is also a regular verb. To make someone unhappy and angry. More than unhappy, underline the word angry. Context also goes with anger. Remission we have got for the first time. Any new word, put a star mark. Part of speech noun. The cancellation of a debt, charge or penalty. Cancel something. Any of these. Convict, verb, convict, noun. Here is it a verb or a noun? Noun. Convicts. To decide officially in a law court that someone is guilty of a crime. Here you have to recollect 4 words. First you write the word crime, or a few words you have to recollect. Write the word innocent. Innocent has 2 different meanings. One meaning goes with everyday English. He is an innocent person. Nowadays, no one is innocent. That's a different story. Here it is a legal term. What does it mean? One who has not committed crime. When the judge thinks someone is innocent, that person is acquitted. Write the word acquit. And the next word you have to, based on the editorial, guilty. Guilty also goes with everyday English, but here it is a legal term. I made a mistake. I felt guilty about that. A different meaning. Here guilty means a person who has committed crime. When the judge thinks someone has committed crime, that person will be convicted. So when the judge thinks the person has committed crime, the person will be convicted. Convict is a verb, convict is a noun form. But here you should also recollect two important words. All the words I don't want to give, I've given many a time. Whenever there's a problem, we file a case in the court of law. What is the word for the person who files the case? Write the word, many of you may not know. Plaintiff. Plaintiff means a person who files a case, and the other person is dependent. He has to defend himself. That's a simple word. Also write one more word. Any trial, first hearing, second hearing, then producing the evidence, witness, and there's one important word, alibi. People mispronounce this. They say alibi. No, alibi. Alibi means false evidence. Write the meaning. False. F-A-L-S-E. False evidence. You all must have seen the movie Drishyam. In that, the hero produces alibi, that he was not present on that particular day, the day of murder. So these words you have to recollect. Let us go to the next one. What is the next word here? Hostile also we have got many a time. Hostile, part of speech adjective. I think some problem. Veera. Overlap is there. Hostile, write two words. First you write the word enmity. And be careful, thank you. Be careful with the spelling of the word enmity. No I letter. E-N-M-I-T-Y. But what do we say? Enmity. Spelling is different. And the other word you have to recollect, an important word, antagonistic. Antagonistic also goes with effective English. Hostile, enmity, antagonistic. All you have to remember from bank exams, SSC point of view also. What is the meaning you see here? Showing or feeling opposition or dislike, unfriendly, mild words, but actually enmity. Ex officio, an important word, put a star mark. Part of speech, noun. It can also be adjective. Also write the word adjective. By virtue of an office or position. Virtue, you got this word yesterday, remember? Good quality or good habit. Here, by virtue of, underline those words. That's an important phrase you have to remember. Here, it talks about, I don't know how many of you know, if you go to a university, not an university, because it has a consonantal sound. Though it begins with, what is the first letter here? University. A or an? Why a university? It begins with a consonantal sound. So if you go to a university, who is the main person, the top in position? Vice Chancellor. President, Vice President. Chancellor, Vice Chancellor. Then comes the question, who is the Chancellor? Governor is a Chancellor. Who is a Chancellor? Governor. By virtue of the position, what is the position? Being the governor becomes a chancellor of the university. But actually it is run by the vice chancellor. Only for the namesake, the chancellor is the head of the university. In reality, who runs the show? Vice chancellor runs the show. Next word is an important word. Please put a star mark. Statute. We got this a few weeks ago. A written law passed by a legislative body. Underline two important areas. One is written law. The other one, legislative body. Not simply a written law passed by a legislative body. Stymie also we got the other day. Sounds familiar or unfamiliar? Let me ask a question. How many of you spent time after the session on the handouts? Please raise your hands. Then this is a familiar word we got a few days ago. Stymied. That form was used in the editorial. Part of speech verb. Prevent or hinder the progress of. I gave the meaning that time. There's one more meaning. Delay. Write the word delay. D-E-L-A-Y. delay or prevent or hinder the progress of something. Prudent is an important word, I'm sure you all know. Prudent, part of speech adjective, showing good judgment in avoiding risks and uncertainties. You all know it goes with investment also. Yes or no? So prudent, an important word, put a star mark. The last word, discretion, noun form. Discretionary adjective, left to the individual choice or judgment. Sometimes what happens, you have to decide. You ask someone, what shall I do? Then we may say, use your discretion. Means use your skill or ability to decide what is right, what is wrong. Then take the final call. That's what it means. So some of these words are very important. We'll go to the editorial. This editorial, today's editorial, what is it about or who is it about? Governors and the controversies surrounding governors. To be very frank, it is not an easy editorial, very difficult to comprehend. And you got to read twice or thrice, only then you can understand. Because you need a bit of awareness related to this topic, background information, some information related to the role of governors, some information related to constitution, some information related to Indian polity. With that you can understand, otherwise practically difficult. How does it start? Action and authority on governors and implementation of decisions by elected regimes. Underline elected regimes. Here we have two parties, means there are two entities. On the one hand, we have the governor, one entity, appointed by the center, usually the one who is in favor of the ruling party at the center. The other entity, elected regime, that means a political party that is in power. If you take Tamil Nadu, a particular party, or you take Telangana, which party is in power? BRS. But the governor appointed by which party? Center, BJP. So there is a possibility for the clash. It's all about the clash between the governor and the legislative body or the ruling party. At the outset, you have to know the framework. Based on that, the writer takes us in a systematic way. But what is the main idea of this editorial? Governors should leave no scope for criticism. Whatever you see underlined, important expressions or phrases, you got to catch or grasp. Should, already we have got many a time. What are the functions of should? One is advise or suggest someone. The other one, possibility, chances are more or less. Very good. Should leave no scope for criticism that they challenge elected regimes. So editorial takes a stand. It says, governors should not be criticized. Governors should not give a chance to be criticized. What is the criticism against the governors? That they challenge elected regimes. They have to go with the elected regimes. Ultimately, who is powerful? Governor or elected regime? Elected regime. So they have to respect and have to go with the elected regime. But if they challenge the elected regime, obviously it results in a bottleneck or a deadlock that is not good for the constitution, not good for the administration. This is the main idea. Now it talks about that two states have approached the Supreme Court of India against the conduct of, underline the word conduct. Again, put a star mark. Please excuse me, today I have a bad throat. You have to bear with that. First you write the word CONDUCT. Bracket you write verb. As a verb, we say conduct. They conducted a function yesterday. Again, you write the word CONDUCT. Bracket you write noun. Also write adjective. Thanks. Here we pronounce conduct. Conduct, verb, conduct. If you go to a college, at the time of leaving the college, you have to take two certificates. One is a TC, transfer certificate. The other one, CC, conduct certificate. Conduct means the way you behave. Write the meaning, it goes with behavior. Conduct, behavior. I'm sure you all know this. Yes, sir. Give us some time, sir. So, careful with pronunciation. We'll go to the editorial. The two states have approached, which tense is that? Present perfect. The Supreme Court of India against the conduct of their governors, means the behavior of their governors. Once again, now tell me what is the subject of this so far, whatever I have read, what is the subject? Or what is the verb here? Underline the word flags. The two states have approached the Supreme Court of India against the conduct of their governors. Once again, all this comes under subject, right? Subject. We have a clause. Subject can be a word, it can be a phrase, it can be a clause. These will trouble you in the exam. If at all they give in the exam, there is every possibility to get confused. The subject is a lengthy one, and the verb is only one word, flags. So a bit difficult to make out. Flags what? The problem of political appointees in Raj Bhavan. Who resides in Raj Bhavan? Governors, obviously. In Raj Bhavan, using their authority to delay the implementation of decisions by elected regimes. If not, put a star mark. Undermine them. When it comes to the role of a governor, what is expected? When the elected regime sends a particular bill or a particular law, it is expected that the governor has to give the assent. He has no choice as such. Because elected body takes a decision, it has to be a wise decision majority. So it's like a rubber stamp. So we say governor post, a rubber stamp. Rubber president. Today, if you take in our country, who is the most powerful, president or prime minister? Prime minister. President, we say rubber stamp. Rubber stamp means what? He has to simply give the approval. He has nothing to say about exceptions are there. So here governor supposed to give the approval. But they have, based on the constitution, they have a choice. Either they can give the approval immediately or they can delay. When they delay for a long time, it becomes a problem. That is the actual thing they're trying to highlight. So it says, their authority to delay the implementation of decisions by elected regimes, if not, undermine them. Either they can delay or weaken. Weaken already have got undermine. Undermine means what? Weaken something. Make something gradually weak. I hope you got the meaning of that sentence. Let us go to... And it starts with two states. What are the two states here? Substantiating. Tamil Nadu and Kerala have questioned, again present perfect, the delay in granting assent approval to bills passed by the legislature. This is the actual tussle. Tussle means what problem? What is the problem? The government sends a bill, the governor does not give the approval, delays, then obviously they get annoyed, they don't accept that. They have approached the Supreme Court. So it talks about two states, Tamil Nadu and Kerala, have questioned the delay in the granting assent to bills passed by the legislature. Tamil Nadu is also aggrieved. Aggrieved means what? One is unhappy, sad, other angry. Aggrieved that proposals related to grant of remission. Remission means cancel something like penalty or all those things. Remission to some convicts or convicts. Sanction for prosecution of some former ministers, and appointments to the state public service commissions haven't been acted upon. Already underlined, haven't been acted upon, an important expression, active voice or passive voice. Passive voice means what? The governor has not taken any decision on those issues. Haven't been acted upon means, write the meaning, decision not taken. Decision not taken. Now it says governors need not rubber stamp any decision. They need not be rubber stamps. They need not rubber stamp. Already it is in bold, underline rubber stamp. Answer my question immediately. In this sentence, rubber stamp, verb or noun? It is a verb. Please write verb. Need not write, need not approve, need not go. What is the word after need not? Verb. Need not rubber stamp any decision. So here it is a verb. That's why I brought it in bold. Governors need not rubber stamp any decision. They can take a decision on their own, but contrasting information. One can question the practice of governors, especially in states not governed by the ruling party at the center, blocking decisions and bills. We cannot say governors have to be rubber stamps. At the same time, we can question the governors when they delay without any justification. That's what the sentence means. Have you got the meaning of the sentence? And here there is one word, practice. Put a star mark. Practice here, noun or verb? Noun, please write noun. The practice of governors. Especially where? In states not governed by the ruling party at the center. And ruling party at the center appoints the governors. Obviously, the game plan changes. Blocking decisions and bills. For instance, some governors appear to be hostile, antagonistic, to the very idea of amendments to university laws. Yesterday, some students attended descriptive English. I don't know, anyone here today? No. Do you remember when it comes to writing, when you write a sentence, when you make a statement, you have to substantiate. Substantiate means provide an example. Previous sentence says, it goes against the governors, either blocking or delaying. To substantiate that, the writer has given the example of the role of governors when it comes to universities. So this sentence talks about that. Here it says, for instance, for example, some governors appear to be hostile to the very idea of amendments to university laws. If they seek to leave out chancellors, invariably the governors themselves, from the process of appointing vice chancellors or establishing new universities in which governors are not chancellors. Now imagine the state assembly proposes something, a bill, where they say existing universities, the bill says governors are not going to be the chancellors. One idea. Second thing, they establish a new university without the governor, without the chancellor. Both the things present governors are not going to accept. They are not accepting. They want to play a role. Sentence talks about that. That's why I gave the introduction. Who is the chancellor of a university? Governor is the chancellor. Now the state assembly says, now you are not going to be the chancellor. We are going to deal only with the vice chancellors. We are going to remove the post of chancellor. Obviously, governor will accept or will not accept. Will not accept. That is a problem here. And it says the idea of having governors as ex officio vice chancellor. Here, ex officio vice chancellor, based on that position by virtue of ex officio vice chancellor of most universities, is only a practice and is actualized through their founding statutes. Founding statutes. Underline the word founding. Why is it important? Why should you underline? We have two verbs. One, find, found. The other, founded. This goes with the second one. Founding statutes. Statute, a written law passed by a legislative body. However, governors seem to be laboring under the misconception, working under the misconception that they have a right to be chancellors and tend to delay assent to any bill that clips or removes their power. Common sense. The Constitution has given you 10 powers. I am telling you 5 I am removing. Will you accept? You will fight, and you have a right to fight because the Constitution has given the power. Obviously, they try to fight. That it talks about that. They are laboring under the misconception that they have a right to be chancellors and tend to delay assent to any bill that clips or removes their power. It is time. Please put a star mark here and listen very carefully. See what happens. Usually we tell students rules. And I also caution, I do it deliberately, intentionally. I caution students, learn rules. But do remember, in English we have rules and exceptions. You should always keep it open. Many a time I told here from this platform, regular classes also, whenever you come across it is time, the verb should be in the past form. Remember, it is time you went there. It is time you started your preparation. Please write one sentence. It looks like you guys don't remember. It is time you started your preparation. We also use a phrase, it is high time. It is time, it is high time. What is the verb here after the clause started? Started, present or past? So it is time you went there. It is time you started your preparation. This is the standard rule they have given in many exams. Now a typical candidate, what he or she will do, oh, master said it is time means the verb should be in past. But look at the pattern in the editorial. It is time to have a national prohibition on governors. Underline to have. Do we have a verb or we have a finite verb or non-finite verb? Non-finite verb. To have is a basic form with to or infinitive with to. That's a non-finite verb. And whatever the rule I have just said, that goes with the finite verb. It is time you started your preparation. It is time you wrote your notes. It is time you went there. But here it is time to have a different pattern. Then that rule is not applicable. Do you understand what I say? Looking at it is time, you cannot say the verb should be in past. In English, we have many patterns. Based on the pattern, based on the context, you have to decide what is right, what is wrong. Always remember that, otherwise you lose marks. So here, it is time to have a national prohibition on governors. That is too broad a statement. The idea is we have to prohibit governors, the concept of governors, national prohibition on governors being burdened with the role of chancellor of any university, not the post, the role as a chancellor, as recommended by the Justice M.M. Punchi Commission on Center-State Relations. A particular commission recommended chancellors or governors should not be burdened with the responsibility of dealing with the university. So we have to remove the governors from the post of chancellors. Already there is a ruling based on that. Second part deals with politics. It is unfortunate that absence of a time frame. In the Constitution says governors can delay. But how long? Imagine the Constitution says governors can delay for 6 months. It is crystal clear. But time frame is not there. They can delay, keep on delaying. Then it becomes a problem. This sentence talks about that. That's why the word, underline the word, unfortunate. It is unfortunate that absence of a time frame for giving assent is used by some governors to stymie laws, means to delay laws or block laws passed by the legislature. They have an excuse. They say Constitution says we can delay. There's no time frame. We will delay. No one can question that. One would have thought the Supreme Court's observations arising out of the Telangana government's petition, reminding constitutional authorities that the phrase as soon as possible appearing in Article 200 of the Constitution contains what? Significant constitutional content, would have driven into them a sense of immediacy in considering bills. A lengthy sentence, very difficult to understand, but what it means, they can delay, but as soon as possible, not too much of delay. What the court meant was that it would be constitutionally impermissible, not allowed, for governors to indefinitely hold on to bills without conveying a decision. They cannot delay, excuse me, they cannot delay, underline the word indefinitely. There should be some time frame. Have you got the meaning of this word? Indefinite means what? Please answer. Give me a second. Usually this goes with, sorry about that. Usually this goes with exams. Exams postponed indefinitely. Means what? You cannot guess when they're going to conduct. Also, it goes with strike. Strike has been postponed indefinitely. And here, decision postponed indefinitely, not acceptable. It talks about that. The states too ought to be, please put a star mark here, ought to be. And you have to think of two helping verbs, that is also a helping verb. First you write the word should, and then you write ought to. Both have the same function. Should, ought to, what is the function? Used to advise or suggest someone. Advise or suggest someone. Old English, should informal, ought to formal. But now modern English in Western countries, ought to become outdated. I hope you are listening carefully. Ought to become outdated. Formal or informal, they use should. But Old English, same function, should informal, ought to formal. Example, you ought to be punctual. You ought to be diligent. You ought to submit your report by Monday, ought to. They would use at the workplace. Now it has become outdated. So it says pattern is important. The states too ought to be prudent. Means what? They should be wise, ought to be prudent in their decision making without leaving scope for questions on the merit of their decisions. So far the editorial has criticized the governor and their actions. Now a suggestion from the editorial to the legislative body. What is the suggestion here? Whatever decisions they take, they should not give a chance to the governor to question. So they have to take wise decisions, and governor should not get a chance to question those decisions. Then he cannot hold it for a long time. The absence of any laid down process, underline, already underlined, put a star mark, laid down. What is the verb here, lie or lay? Please write again. Here it is not lie. Lie, lied, lied, lie, lay, lay, not. Here lay, what is the past form? We are talking about this verb. Laid down, put down. So laid down process to seek applications and assess the relative merits of applicants before appointing the chairperson and the members of the Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission is a case in point. So governor has not given the assent for the appointment of the members of Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission, appointment of the chairman of Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission, and the editorial says they have to check the credentials of these members. Then the governor cannot question, he will give the assent. How does it end? The larger point that none should forget is that governors are explicitly restricted in their functioning by the aid and advice clause. Their job is only to help and advise, not to take decisions. In the Constitution, and ought not to misuse, should not misuse the discretionary space available to them. Very clear. Governors are only to help, aid and advise. They cannot take a decision. If they can take a decision, why should we have the elected regime? Why should we have the legislative body? It doesn't serve any purpose. This is all about the editorial. Not easy to understand. You may get as a passage, polity related, and read twice or thrice, that will help. Let us go to error location and do quickly. Do you have a session at 10? We have enough time. Please read the first one and tell me where the error is. I will not read, you tell me the part. Third part, what is wrong with the third part? The interim government in Islamabad says, underline the reporting verb says, its decision was or is. It should be in present. Because the reporting verb is in present, tenses don't change. Was is not correct, change it to is not targeted. Very good, I appreciate. Go to the second one. Over the decades, millions of Afghans have taken refuge in Pakistan, mostly fleeing violence in their civil war-stricken country. Which part has an error? How many of you say second part? What is wrong with the second part? A refuge or refugee? Strike off one letter. Here, have taken refuge. Have taken what? a refuge, shelter. Refugee, a person, does not make any sense. Go to question number 3. It is like they have taken the book, they have taken the gift, they have taken the refuge. We need a noun. But it means shelter. Where is the error? How many of you say second part? What is wrong with that? Are believed to have flee or fled. Here, this is a non-finite verb. To have fled, underline one unit. Flee, fled, fled. We have to use the past participle form. To have completed, to have given, to have written, to have fled. That is a pattern. Go to question number 4. Pakistan's order states that they should either leave on their own or nor. Very good. An easy question for a change. Question number 5, read and answer. What Pakistan is doing is scapegoating tens of thousands of poor Afghan refugees for the failures of their own policies. How many of you say fourth part? Oh, wonderful. What is wrong with the fourth part? Answer my question, what is the subject here? All of you underline Pakistan. Pakistan, singular or plural? Singular. Will you say their or its? Its own policies, not their own policies, its own policies. And this is an important question. It goes with what I call subject-pronoun agreement. Usually we focus on subject-verb agreement. But here what is it about? Subject-pronoun agreement. Singular, its, plural, their. Here you cannot say their own policies. And you got a new exercise. Let's see how you're going to handle close test. Here, you don't see any word. All that you see a blank, first letter, last letter, and there's a clue for you. What is a clue? It's a 10-letter word. Tell me what is the first one. Yes? Word is struggling. Write the first one. Struggling economy. He's training its struggling economy. There have been 24 suicide bomb attacks since January this year, and 14 of them were carried out. Very good, I appreciate that. Carried out by Afghan nationals. What is the next one? 7-letter word. Interim. I-N-T-E-R-I-M. Interim Interior Minister. Very good. When he announced the 11 deportation, how many letters? 11. Okay, deportation. Pakistan, which is to have its national elections in January, is also reeling under. Very good, I appreciate. R-E-E-L-I-N-G. Reeling under a balance of payment crisis and high rupee depreciation. But the solution to these woes, W-O-E-S. I hope you're getting enough time to write. Am I going fast? No. W-O-E-S. Woes means what? Big problems. The responsibility for most of the problems Pakistan now faces. What is the word here? Lies. L-I-E-S. Lies with its rulers. Very good. I appreciate. L-I-E-S. Lies with its rulers. When its military and civilian leadership continue to play power games, trying to outwit, O-U-T-W-I-T, outwit each other. Could you guess easily? Interesting or not interesting? Today I have brought 5 idioms. One shot you can learn 5 idioms. First column you have the idioms. Second column you have the meanings. Try to get all the 5 correct. I'll give you a minute. Spend time. Then I will ask you have to respond. Done. Out of the woods, safe. Here it is, these two, one. Paper tiger. Seems to be powerful, but not powerful. Very good. Play second fiddle. Have a subordinate position. Puffed up. It goes with ego. Puffed up ego. Answer, filled with pride. Put in a word. Put in a word to the manager. Put in a word to the director. Speak on someone's behalf. Who got all the 5 correct? Ah, very good. I appreciate. 4 also wonderful. We'll go to questions based on comprehension skill. Try to answer quickly. What is the first question here? What is the primary concern raised in the editorial regarding the conduct of governors in India? Is it excessive use of executive power, their disregard for the constitution, their interference in the decisions of elected regimes? Yes, answer is C. What is the editorial stance on the stance means stand on the role of governor as the university chancellors? Should continue, should have no role, should be allowed to appoint. Governor should only serve as chancellor. So what is the answer here? B is the answer. Governor should have no rule in university matters. It calls for national prohibition of governors as chancellors. What is the editorial's view on the use of aid and advice clause in the constitution by governors? Governors should use their discretionary space more actively. Governors should have complete freedom to make decisions without advice. Governors should not misuse their discretionary space. You have to respond when I come to the correct option. Governors should have no. So what is the answer here? C is the answer. Have you said C? Good. Go to the next one. What did the Supreme Court's observations in response to the Telangana government's petition emphasize? The importance of governors, the need for governors to have more time, the constitutional significance of acting as soon as possible. So C is the answer. What does the editorial suggest regarding the appointment of chairpersons and members of the Tamil Nadu Public Service Commission? Governors should have complete authority. A clear process for application and assessment of candidates should be established. Governors should make these appointments without any process. State should have no involvement. No, I thought you would respond when I read out the second one. What is the second one here? A clear process for application and assessment of candidates should be established. This is what it says. Answer is B. And I don't know how many of you have been regular. I know some are regular. Now on, every week I'll bring the words based on the week. This week, starting from 1st November. How many days we have spent? Today is the 4th day. But already have got the words today, but 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Because we are running out of time, and I have a bad throat also, I don't want to strain. Do spend some time on all these. Monday I'll be asking. You have to tell the meanings and parts of speech of all these words. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. I will see you guys on Monday. Thank you very much.